Okay. Call of Duty is rigged and fake. Proof? Show me, because I don't think so. I think you're just bad, so. This video copyrighted, hope not. Is it gonna be a slideshow the entire time?
So I can look at somebody that was in your state that you are right now, but this person was 6 months ago, and see what happened to this person. Did this person increase engagement, decrease engagement? And this is the root state. When you start playing Call of Duty, that's where you start. Now, because it's really dark, now it's dark because you start a game and we don't know anything about you. But you see all those possible directions to go. There's all those possible futures for you to explore.
How do you know that? Like, what is this? You see, this is when you play Call of Duty, and this is your brain when you don't. Yeah, we know. I haven't went outside in 28 days, but now we know this, so that's pretty cool.
Here you can see it's clear that there's like a cluster with light circles on the bottom. You want to reroute users there.
We finally found it. The last bit of definitive proof we needed in order to reveal what we've been saying for years and what's been right in front of our faces. Call of Duty is rigged to breed player engagement and microtransaction sales by extension. The
microtransaction sales, I can't even speak, you know what I'm trying to say, sales are pretty cooked, but the game being rigged, you know about that.
Making measures engagement and manipulates your results and the way you're advertised to in-game in order to maximize profits and your interest in the game. And the worst part is, Activision tried to gaslight us into thinking this wasn't the case by telling us that their matchmaking did not utilize engagement as a factor that is measured, by completely redefining the meaning of engagement that we're talking about from player interest to time played, and then answering the question that way. However, this isn't the proof we're talking about exactly. We're talking about Activision representatives talking about Call of Duty's background algorithms in a public presentation about how the game uses machine learning to personalize player engagement. And that's not...
That just... I mean, it does suck with the, oh god, what's that word? Oh no. Matchmaking, when...
Paraphrasing. That is exactly what the presentation is called, and what the video is called. I'll link it down below, but there are key parts of the presentation that are
Alright, I want to do some petty craft, so I'm gonna watch it. Where is it? Where is it, buddy? Buddy, where is it? Oh, they hate you. Yeah. I'm sure that Activision is going after Ben Foster CX4EM. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, they have something personal against him.
a dead giveaway that they profile you and actively analyze the state that you're in order to best optimize your engagement. And the last thing I'm gonna show is horrifyingly futuristic and almost unfathomable until you see it for yourself.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking right now.
But let's roll the first clip.
So for people that worked with live products, this curve is really familiar. So you have early engagement building up, and there's a peak.
I am sorry, I don't mean to be mean, and I can't tell half the things this guy is saying. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like...
And eventually there's a tail. Now, different people are going to have different shapes. Some people are going to have like a higher peak, lower peak, shorter tail, longer tail. But that's what the average curve looks like. Every point...
Is he on like a TED Talk right now? And like some kid's like, yeah, I'm depressed. And the next guy's like, bro, you need to stop playing Call of Duty right now. Stop playing it.
In this red line is your state in your journey. So I can look at somebody that was in your state that you are right now, but this person was 6 months ago, and see what happened to this person. Did this person increase engagement, decrease engagement? What message this person was sent? And was it good, was it bad? Now, I get all this information, and I can make a decision about what to do with you right now.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube getting ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension, and it basically blocks.
Right here, they are presenting a graph that represents the average curve of player engagement. A player boots up the game for the first time and isn't all that interested or engaged. Then the slope climbs until its peak, which we can define as the point of maximum interest, perhaps even a little or a lot of addiction. Then we can see that slope tapers off. Their objective is to analyze
Taper. Okay. In all seriousness, the video game, maybe not addiction, but you're supposed to get engaged in a video game. Like, you can say it's about any game. So I'm still not convinced that it's rigged, and I'm doing quotation marks.
why that taper off happens, and then how to best prevent that from happening. From a business perspective, this is obviously a smart endeavor. Why do players lose interest, and how can we best prevent that? However, they start to dive way too deep, and instead of just deciding to constantly release new, high-quality content that everyone enjoys, they instead do things on a more microscopic level that is manipulative. They analyze past player data to predict, based on your slope and current state, how likely it is that they will lose you as a player. Roll these next clips.
Every circle you see in the screen.
Okay, I'm actually going to read it this time. A simplistic view of the ultimate player path. Season 1. X. What does X mean? I'm in math class again. Oh god. Messengers recruited with this going mind. I should have clicked on this video. This is too big brain, and this guy's... Like, who is this guy? Where is he? Like, who...
It's a state. So the X's are churn states. The blues and the greens are states that I'm going to talk about it. But the arrows here are different because remember the arrows are the actions. It's how I walk from one state to the other.
What does X mean? This is not algebra. Gosh, what does X mean? What does X mean? Maybe I can agree with this guy, because, put it in simpler terms, maybe?
And messages are pretty much what we send to the user. So if I want to move a user from state 1 to state 2, I send him a message. Hey, do this in the game. Hey, try that. Hey, did you hear about this new game event? And by doing that, I change your state. I send it to another state. And some states are better than others. Is that a better place that I can introduce this feature that is going to lead to a higher engagement, state 3, in order to experience this feature? We should avoid the states 2 and avoid the churn state.
This chart lays out a path that the algorithm wants a player to take, but it's extremely simplified. It sets up that there are different player states, and in some states, the churn risk, or the chances a player will quit playing the game, is higher than others. Additionally, some player states are better used to introduce some messaging or gameplay mechanics to a player than others. However,
So then what do they do? And also, I don't believe that they can measure this. And I haven't played this game in a while, so, like, what? Whenever they realize that, they just flip you off and kick you to the curb or something? Like, what? Oh, no, they're evil. Evil.
in order to achieve certain states and decide what is best to show the player, whether it's an advertisement, result, message, skin, or otherwise, the algorithm must first analyze what state you're in and then find the best path to take in order to put you into the desired state, which is obviously manipulation of the human psyche. What was also noticeable is that there were some... However, in order to achieve certain states and decide what is best to show the player, whether it's an advertisement, result, message, skin, or otherwise, the algorithm must first analyze what state you're in and then find the best path to take in order to...
What do you mean by state? Two things. Either this guy is smoking up crack, or I'm just, like, too smush brain, you know?
Put you into the desired state, which is obviously manipulation of the human psyche. What was also noticeable is that there were some states where doing certain things to a player will almost undoubtedly make them quit. State 2 here is a good example. The only possible outcome of showing a certain engagement message to a player is that player quitting and that message failing. But since this is the optimal path, what that is showing us is that you...
But they try to avoid state 2 if they can. X. Oh no, state 2 is X. Oh, what does X mean? Oh god.
Have to reach state 2 in order to reach state 3 to best engage the player and have them most prepared for the message that will make them be more engaged and spend more money on the game. This sounds insanely similar to EOMM, or engagement optimized matchmaking, which is essentially matchmaking that is rigged in order to breed player engagement. If we have a player playing well, getting kills and winning games, they may be very engaged, but they're not in the
Okay, now this guy is about maybe can start making sense. Okay, because
exact state the algorithm wants. So if it tosses the player a few losses by stacking the odds against them, perhaps putting them with better players, worse ping, or whatever else may tilt the odds against them, it would put them in a state that is very volatile. But
it's just skill-based matchmaking, which is what I was trying to think of earlier. I mean, there is sometimes though that I shoot someone like 20,000 times and they don't die, and they're like, I shot in the head once and I'm dead. So, maybe he's onto something. I don't know.
only to toss them a blowout win where they would play very well and have everything stacked in their favor to help them reach state 3, where they're most likely to give Activision money. This is literally just rigging matches to breed engagement, or at the very least, manipulating your emotional state to get you exactly where they want you. This also follows the exact philosophy that the students that created EOMM follow, tossing different results in different orders.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Hold up. Hold up. Let him cook.
Breed higher engagement rates and different churn rates. I find it interesting that it follows the exact philosophy that the inventors of engagement-based matchmaking used. This essentially details a crazy part about machine learning.
Hold on. I know no one's actually paying attention to this. But just this gameplay right here.
Exact philosophy that the inventors
He gets his knife out.
of engagement-based matchmaking used. This essentially details a crazy part about machine learning, though. Their methods and algorithms are constantly updating and learning, which means that every single day, the algorithm gets better at reading and predicting the path of player engagement, and as a result, becomes better at manipulating your engagement to put you exactly where it wants you. Now, this is what you've been waiting for. This last part is a terrifying example of how manipulative these algorithms are.
Okay, so it's been a little bit cooking for the past little bit, so maybe I might actually be shaking.
And how crazily powerful these things have undoubtedly become. Remember, this is technology that was active back in 2019. Just imagine how it is now in 2025.
I don't really know 2019. I mean, the reason I'm actually starting to believe this is because you guys watching, you guys seen how crazy AI is, so, maybe. Maybe.
Especially with how powerful AI has become. Once you understand the graph, you'll realize that this game truly is not a game anymore. It's a tool designed to squeeze money and dopamine out of you. This chart had 3 player states to make the system look easy to understand, but their web of knowledge absolutely eclipses that number. Take a look at this.
This is the very center of the graph.
Oh, not this guy! You're actually cooking! Like, what is this? Like, what is this crap? So this is, I already, yeah, I'll stop.
Hundreds of thousands of states here, but this is the really beginning. The lighter the color is, the more engaged the user is with Call of Duty. The size of the circles there is how many people are in a specific state. So you can see already some patterns that some states are connected to some other states, and this is really powerful now because I can give a heads up before somebody go to like a critical churn state 1 week before. You can run simulations to see where people are going to be 1 week from now, 1 month from now. And this is the root state. When you start playing Call of Duty, that's where you start. Now, because it's really dark. Now, it's dark because you start a game with...
I'm trying so hard to listen to this guy, but I can't understand the words that come out of his mouth. That was a really terrible impression.
We don't know anything about. We don't know anything about you. So everything about you is 0. So that's why it's a dark color there. But you see all those possible directions to go. There's all those possible futures for you to explore, and all those possible paths, and where they send you to. Here you can see it's clear that there's like a cluster with light circles on the bottom. You want to reroute users there. So that's the strategy that the graph is going to do.
Holy.
How does that work under? Oh boy. I can't wait to shoot people. Oh boy. Yeah, get him. Oh, it's War Thunder. Oh, it's War Thunder. It's
Cow. This graph displays a small fraction of the hundreds of thousands of player states that they now know exist within the game. The brighter the dot, the more engaged the player in that state has become. So not only do they actually measure player engagement, they also measure the exact state that you're in to determine how volatile you are, in order to determine the best possible outcomes and messages to toss you in order to keep you playing the game. For example, if you're in a less engaged state or a darker color, the algorithm prefers that it directly guides you to a more engaged state. And if you're engaged, it prefers to keep you there. In the center, as this guy mentioned, there's a neutral dot because they have no data on you. You're essentially a zero. The most preferable thing that their algorithm can do.
okay. Thankfully, this guy actually has a voice I can understand, or I'd be so good. Okay, so I don't understand this. Like, how do you like that's what I understand. Like sometimes they're like, oh yeah, we ran some tests, and on how many people are killed every single minute. I'm like, wow. So how do you get that? How do you get this? I mean, what the heck is this? But like, oh no, I lost my train of thought. I'm kind of cooked.
Is to make sure that you're redirected to the most engaged state possible, which only means one thing. New accounts and new players are guaranteed an extremely satisfactory and fun experience when they first boot up the game. After that, they're just fodder for the algorithm. The game purposely directs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. But I do think that oh my gosh. Okay, so all the rounds I played, on YouTube and stuff, at the high satisfaction rate or whatever, I'm losing, and it's entertaining whenever I'm at that because I have crash outs. Anyway, how do they measure this though? That's why this doesn't make any sense. Like, how are they measuring it? Like, how do they see? Oh wait, low satisfactory. We gotta boost it up. Well, how do you know that? Would you have a camera? Wait. Oh no, they have a camera.
Their engagement when they play for the first time in order to initially hook them. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are literally hundreds of thousands of measurable player states, and there are probably more being added every day. You are a cog in the system, a data point for them to study in order to rig the game more effectively. Each state is actively studied by machine learning models, and the solution is formed based on tons of data on how to best bring each player state to become as engaged as possible, regardless of the player type or the state that they're in. This graph is a representation of how the engagement-based matchmaking sees you.
Well, this reminds me of Alex Bell, but like it's so dramatic. He's like, so the Lorax, he's protecting trees because he's actually a child murderer.
Measures the state that you're in, then pulls from the vast history of data they have on the millions of other players the game has in order to deduce what kind of an experience to toss you in order to decrease the chances of you quitting and increase the chances of you playing more and buying microtransactions. And this isn't a theory. This is being used by Activision, and they publicly outed it in a presentation.
It's a theory, buddy. Okay.
Probably just hoped the players were too stupid to realize that this presentation literally means the game is absolutely rigged. And this was conveniently right before Modern Warfare 2019 came out, which makes sense. As soon as they started using machine learning and heavy data to measure player engagement, there seems to be something off about the game. Heck, even the introduction of disbanding lobbies is enough to raise suspicions. But lobbies started disbanding as soon as all of this data measuring player engagement and how to manipulate player states came out. It is no coincidence. Lobbies disband so that they can constantly toss you engaging matches that put you into the states that they want. If the lobbies
Coincidence? I think not.
stayed the same, there would be no way to manipulate your results. We have it from the horse's mouth that they directly measure engagement and tailor the game to most effectively manipulate player states in order to drive engagement. Them denying they measure engagement and then redefining the word is also definitive proof that they're dodging this completely. What is awful about this is they're forgetting the most effective way to engage players is not to manipulate them, but rather just make a good game. Black Ops 6 is genuinely the worst shooter ever made, bar none. And despite this insanely sophisticated technology,
The war shooter. I have had fun playing the game. I don't care if it's rigged or not. It's not the worst one ever made. I can't say which the worst one is because I don't know. But wait. Mr. B.
they've bled over 60% of the player base. If the game sucks, which it doesn't matter what kind of fancy algorithms you're using. The least they could do is make a banger quality game and then manipulate us with their matchmaking. I mean, come on, that's the least they could
I was really saying, like, and then they can manipulate us. It's okay. Just.
do. But we get the worst shooter ever made, plus the worst matchmaking ever, double whammy, and the perfect formula to scare away your player base. Your player state is being measured in real time, and the algorithm is actively learning every day how to best redirect and manipulate you into a more engaged state. EOMM has been in the game since at least 2019, and we have it straight from Activision's mouth that they measure player engagement and actively try to put you in certain states.
How the do they measure? That's how you spell measure, right? Hmm. I knew that. I know how to spell it. Wait, I got it right. How do they measure? That's how I spell measure. Oh well. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Modern games feels like you're punished for doing good in video games. How do I know that out of touch and someone is boycott? Boycott COD. I will say that there are some parts of this that's makes me wonder. I don't think it's fully true though, but it is. I'm not in fully disbelief, so yeah.